Most of us treat dish soap like background noise. A quick squeeze, some bubbles, rinse, move on with life. But if your hands are constantly dry, your cups still smell like lemon after 3 rinses. Or your sponge holds onto that perfume for days. It's not just you being picky. That's the formula doing what it was designed to do. Alright, let's start with the ones I personally avoid. Kirkland's Signature Ultra, big bottle, big expectations. And a lot of people walk away disappointed. The most common complaint is simple. It feels weak on grease, so you end up using more, scrubbing longer, and reapplying. And once you're using extra product, any fragrance and preservative system in there gets a lot more contact time on your hands. Some folks also mention dryness after longer dish sessions, which is frustrating because the responsible branding makes you expect something gentler. If it works for you, great, but for daily hand washing, it can be that annoying mix of not strong enough and still not mild enough. Ajax. Ajax usually wins on price, and I get why people grab it, but low-cost dish liquids often go for that powerful feel with bold fragrance, colorants, and a surfactant blend that can feel sharp on skin. If you've ever had that tight, squeaky dry feeling after washing, this is the type of formula that can do it. If you already have tiny cracks on your knuckles, some people describe a stinging or burning sensation. Not everybody, but enough that Ajax tends to land on the fine in a pinch list. Not the everyday, forever list. Mrs. Meyer's Clean Day. This one surprises people because the branding screams gentle and plant-inspired. In real life, the biggest complaint is fragrance intensity. Even when a label nods to essential oils, the scent can still come through like a strong perfume blend, and that can linger on sponges, plastic, and sometimes even glassware. If you're sensitive to fragrance, it can be headache territory. Another issue is performance. A lot of users say they need more product to cut grease compared to stronger soaps, and more product means more exposure to whatever your skin doesn't love. Dawn Ultra. Dawn is the classic, it works soap. And yeah, it does. But the reason it cuts grease so fast is also why some people avoid it as an everyday hand-washing soap. Many versions use high-foaming surfactants like SLS or SLES, and those can be drying or irritating for some people with frequent use. Add in a heavier scent profile, and you've got a soap that cleans aggressively but can leave hands feeling stripped. Plenty of people keep Dawn around as a heavy-duty option, then use something milder for day-to-day dishes. Sunlight. Sunlight's citrus vibe often reads like fresh and natural, but in a lot of versions, the lemon scent is still mostly fragrance chemistry, not actual citrus extract doing the work. You'll also see bright dyes in many markets, which don't improve cleaning, they just make it look vibrant. The bigger issue is consistency. Sunlight formulas can vary a lot depending on where you buy it. Some versions feel noticeably harsher than you'd expect, especially if you're washing big loads. If you've got sensitive hands, it's one of those approach carefully soaps. Method. Method is a shelf beauty brand, and I don't mean that as an insult. It looks premium, but a lot of people notice two things fast. The fragrance can be intense, and the grease performance can be inconsistent. If you're washing oily pans, some users say they need double the amount they'd normally use with a stronger soap. And if you're choosing Method because you want something gentler, using more product kind of defeats the whole point. If you love the scent and it works for you, fine. If you want truly neutral dishes and calmer skin, it can be a mismatch. Joy. Joy tends to be known for strong grease cutting, especially in high-use kitchens. The trade-off is usually scent and feel. Many people describe the lemon fragrance as concentrated and clingy, especially on plastics. Even after rinsing, the smell can hang around on cups and containers, and that makes some folks feel like it never really leaves the surface. On hands, people who wash without gloves often report dryness and irritation quickly. If you like bold fragrance, you might not care. If you want your dishes to smell like nothing, it can drive you nuts. Fairy Plus. Fairy has a reputation for being super concentrated, meaning you don't need much. That part is real, but concentration cuts both ways. Strong detergents plus strong fragrance can be a rough combo for sensitive skin, especially with daily use. The lemon clean vibe is usually built more from fragrance compounds than actual citrus. For some people, Fairy is amazing for greasy messes and terrible as an everyday soap. If your hands get red or dry easily, it's one to watch. Palmolive Original. Palmolive is instantly recognizable, and it cleans. The complaints are pretty consistent though. Strong scent, dyes, and that dry, tight feeling after repeated use. The dyes don't help your dishes, they're just there for appearance. And if you're already dealing with dry winter skin, Palmolive can push you from a little dry to, why do my hands feel like paper? Again, not everyone reacts, but if you're trying to simplify ingredients and reduce irritation triggers, it's usually not the first pick. Frosh. Frosh is a weird one on lists like this because it's marketed as eco-friendly, and in some ways it is gentler than traditional heavy hitters. The reason it still ends up on avoid lists for some people comes down to expectations. Eco-buyers often assume it'll be free of the preservatives that commonly bother sensitive skin. Then they read the label and see preservative types that certain people try hard to avoid. On top of that, some users feel it struggles with heavy grease, so they use more. And we're back to the same problem: more product, more skin contact, more frustration. If it works for you, cool, but it's not the slam dunk green and powerful option people hope it is. Now let's switch to the better picks. These aren't magic, they're just the ones that tend to focus on simpler formulas, fewer irritants, and a cleaner rinse. Puracy. Puracy hits the sweet spot for a lot of households because it tends to feel gentler without being weak. It's often built around coconut-derived surfactants, and many people find those less stripping than harsher detergent systems. Puracy usually keeps the scent light compared to the big perfume-heavy brands, which matters if you hate that soap taste feeling on cups. Another plus is that the ingredient list and brand messaging tends to be clearer, so you don't feel like you're guessing what you're rubbing into your skin all week. If you want one soap that can handle greasy pans but still feels reasonable for daily hand washing, this is a strong contender. eCover Zero. eCover Zero is for the people who want the soap to do its job and then disappear. No loud scent, no dyes, and a rinse that many users describe as clean and non-filmy, especially on plastics. That matters because residue is where people start getting annoyed, either from smell, taste, or that slightly slippery, did I rinse this enough feeling. eCover Zero isn't always the best for the most extreme burnt-on messes, but for normal daily dishes, it's steady. If you're fragrance sensitive and you want your kitchen to smell like nothing, this one makes a lot of sense. 7th generation free and clear. This is the boring, reliable pick, and I mean that as a compliment. Free and clear formulas are usually built to avoid the biggest common triggers: fragrance, dyes, and the whole smell like a tropical car wash vibe. A lot of people who switch from stronger, more scented soaps say the same thing. Their hands stop feeling tight after washing. It's also one of the easier options to recommend if you've got reactive skin in the house, because you're removing a big variable right away. And even with the simpler approach, it still handles everyday grease without turning dishwashing into a 40-minute project. If you take nothing else from this, take this. The clean feeling you get from a dish soap can come from extra fragrance, extra dye, and extra strength detergents, not from a smarter formula. If your hands feel tight after one sink of dishes, or your cups still smell like soap after a rinse, that's your clue to switch. My rule is simple. I want a soap that cuts grease, rinses clean, and doesn't linger on my skin or my dishes. Drop a comment with what you use and whether you'd buy it again. Thanks for watching.